This is the theory portion for helping verbs. So flash slide 14 and say, so a while ago I asked you to write down what you thought helping verbs were or are, and your answers were close, but actually the actual definition of a helping verb is that it's a verb that doesn't show action. It shows what a subject is like. This will be a little bit clearer in a while. Flash this slide. Most verbs, what we call main verbs, they show action, like runs and like plays or hits, bakes, cooks. It's something that you can do, like he jumps or she swam, right? But helping verbs don't show action. What do they do if they don't show action, but they're a verb? They show what a subject is like. If you say, he is funny, what's the action there, right? So helping verbs show what the subject is like, and they can also be used to help the main verbs. So you could say, he is jumping over the fence. The helping verb there is. There are some helping verbs that are very important to know. These are words that, again, they tell us what something is like. And it changes depending on whether it happened in the past or the present, whether you're talking about one person or many people. For example, if I'm talking about myself, in the past, I could say, I was eating breakfast a while ago. And I can't use the word were. It sounds funny, right? I were eating breakfast a while ago. No. So what if I want to use the word you in the present? What helping verb can I use? And call another learner to answer. That's right, are. You are so funny. What about if I want to use you in the past? And call another learner. Alright, so the helping verb that you use changes depending on whether it happened before or it's happening now, whether you're talking about one person or many people. For example, and then flip to this slide and then read the examples out loud, and then ask the learners to give their own examples. So what if I want to use the word she in the present? What word would I use? That's right, is. She is. Can you give me a sentence that uses the words she is? And then call out learners. Okay, good. What about if I want to use the word they in the past? What word should I use? That's right, they were. Can you give me a sentence using the words they were? Then call another learner to answer. Okay, good. The second set of helping verbs are has, have, and had. So I'm sure that these are words that you're familiar with, but let's just review how they're used. Can somebody use the words I have in a sentence? Okay. What about he has? What about we had? So for all of these, you're calling on the learners to answer. Okay, so you guys used had actually in a bunch of different ways. First of all, we can use has, have, and had to show what we own, what belongs to us. I have a marker, or if I give this to you, he has a marker, or she has a marker. Or if I have this and then I lose it, I had a marker, but it got lost, right? It shows what I own. Can you use the word has, have, or had in a sentence to show what belongs to you or what you used to own? And then call on learners to answer. But has, have, and had, we can also use those words to show what we have to do or what we must do. For example, I have to leave early later, which means that I must leave earlier later. It's something that I have to do. Or he had to dance the Macarena in his school yesterday. It's something that he had to do, maybe not something that he wants to do, but something that he had to do. Can you use the word has, have, or had in a sentence to show what you have to do, what you must do, or what you had to do? And then call on 2 to 3 learners to answer. Okay, good. And last, you can use the words has, have, and had to show something that you have done, something that you have experienced. For example, we have finished the Mad Food Scientist program, or I have been to Boracay. It's something that I've done before, something that I've experienced. Please give me an example of something that you have done or something that you've experienced using the words has, have, or had. Then call on 2 to 3 learners to answer. Good! Now you're ready for the last family of helping verbs. And this is the do family. You have the words do, did, and does. Can you guys give me examples of sentences that use the words do, did, or does? And then call on like 2 or 3 learners to answer. Right, good. So see, I can see that you know how to use these 3 words. But you guys use them in different ways. Let's find out what those ways are. First, you can use the words do, did, and does to act something out. For example, please do your homework. That means that you have to do your homework, whatever your homework is. It's something that must be done. You can also use do, did, and does as a command. For example, do your homework, or please, or do the dishes, right? You're giving an order. Can you give me an example of sentences that use do, did, or does in commands? And then call on 2 or 3 learners to answer. Good. And lastly, we hear the words do, did, and does a lot of the time with the word not. Did not, does not, do not. Remember, this was our lesson last 2 weeks ago when we talked about contractions. Didn't, doesn't, don't. So it shows things in the negative. Can you give me examples that combine do, did, and does with the word not? And then call on a couple learners to answer. So you guys are familiar with the 3 different families of helping verbs now: the be family, the have family, and the do family. You can use these different words either on their own, because helping verbs can stand on their own. For example, I am here. You are hardworking. You are silly. You are funny. It can stand on its own, but you can also use it to help other verbs. You can also use them to help other verbs. For example, I am going to the concert later. You can't say I'm going to the concert later. The main verb needs a little help. It needs a little push. That's what the M is for. In your notebooks, write down, so you're on this slide now, write down 2 sentences for each word. One where the word is used on its own, and one where it's used to help another verb. You have 2 minutes to do this. And then, after that, you send them off into practice, and that is your theory for the higher grade.